Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. We've got, for starters, we've got Justin out of the gate. Justin, so you're on, right? Yeah, you are. So you were able to get a full render out of this thing. How are you feeling about it?
Feeling pretty good. I went and made some notes based on the community critique as well as some of the notes that you had. Just basically a lot of lightening up the background, and the hair wasn't really consistent. And I actually made the hair a little bit more saturated. And yeah, it's nice to see it with like a full render. It's still not, super high quality, but that's the best I can get for now.
No, that's good. I actually like. It's funny because like if you would have said like, "Hey, I'm gonna make the hair a pretty punchy red, saturated color," I would have been like, I don't know, especially against the orange. But I actually think it works really well, specifically when she goes out of focus here. I never thought about this, but like when she goes out of focus, it really does help us read her whole profile. Because like you can see her shirt, you can see her body pose, but it's nice that we can kind of see her throughout, and it just re-solidifies the idea that she's like super warm on top of this relatively cool environment. I think it works out really well. The only things that I'm seeing that I would do, and I'll open up to the floor after this, is I would just through her backflip, take down the saturation on the hair just like 10%. Because it feels a little bit stronger than it does really anywhere else. And it's just creeping past that level where, and this is going to be kind of a silly one, but if you're showing this to any old school people who are used to watching things on like TVs, red at its pure saturation will blow out like television screens. So people who have been trained in old school film and broadcast techniques will see that and be like, that's too much, right? Like it sounds silly, but like I would just grab it and pull it back like 10% just through this backflip to avoid that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's fine. That's an easy comp change.
Yeah, and then this robot as he comes back towards camera at the end, I would just like brighten, like multiply or expose him up a little bit more, because as falls back in here.
Just after he hits the ground, you mean? Like as he starts to roll?
Like into here, he starts to kind of... Because it's like... It's believable enough that this room is kind of uniformly bright. And he doesn't really get into too much darkness back there. So I think just... Like, he doesn't need to be this bright, but like halfway between where he is here and where he is back here. So just because we keep the focus on him throughout. If we were going to rack the focus back on her, I would say it's cool to keep him that dark. But since we're kind of following him all the way back, I would just keep him a little bit brighter. Just a little bit. But other than that, I think it's great. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this?
I think it looks really cool.
Yeah. It's just really sleek is the word I keep wanting to think. It's like, what's that, Ruby?
It was, I really love the color on it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. The like you've hit this because it's not like hits you over the head, warms and cools. It's like really subtle, especially like with the backgrounds and stuff, just really subtle differences. So really great job, man. All right, cool. Let's hop over into some.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. All right, and actually, you had a still as well. We'll hit you while we've got you. So I was just. Oh, go ahead.
One question.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to look into the robot fight scene? And
I did. Unfortunately, I haven't. Yeah, yeah. Justin, do you have? Well, you don't have all the elements in there. I have them all, though. You have them all.
Yeah, I have them all.
Would you mind packaging those up and just sending me a zip file of those? Because I actually lost track of a couple of them. And that way we can send them over to Andre. Andre, would that be okay?
No, perfect.
Great, perfect. Okay, great. All I needed was somebody else to help me out. That's perfect. Thank you, Justin. All right, cool. So I was looking at this one, and so we've got, again, this is the render, this is the reference. So it's interesting because we have all, like in this shot, it's all about them being silhouetted over this bright, glowy background. And in this one, it's all about reading this character with some of the glow in front of it. So it's structurally a little bit different, which makes me think that we should I like the setup, and I like the way that you've got this character looking is really, really cool. I think that we should consider making the headlights face a little more downward. I was going to say, I don't mean to make that dramatic. Just like a little bit more of a downward angle. So that, because right now it's like with it kind of coming up here, it's kind of starting to infiltrate the area that we want to read her. So in reality, headlights really do kind of point downward, and then it would be more of like a spill of light, like right here. You know what I mean? So just like a little bit more of a light, like bleed onto the ground here. I like that we're seeing it closer here, but there would also be like light close to and then kind of go into darkness, and then another circle of light where this thing's kind of hitting downward. And that way that'll clear up some of this up here to allow her to be a little bit more silhouetted, her darks to be a little bit darker. Because right now, like again, this like the darks up here are darker than the darks in here, so we just need to kind of flip that a little bit. I would turn off these lights. I think they look cool, but I don't think. Let me think about this for a second. What do you guys think? Because my gut instinct was like they're not really helping us get the reads that we need, but they do look.
Yeah,
cool.
maybe just tone them down.
Yeah.
Because totally off might be weird. Like, why are they not? I mean, it's nighttime, so why are they not on?
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
yeah, definitely.
Maybe it's just a matter of turning the screen left one off. Or something.
And maybe having more of a light of the light coming through the barges, the boards in the background, so that you have, more of a silhouette of the character there.
So you're saying more light coming through the boards?
Through the boards, yeah, because like you have like, or maybe a little bit more of a glow, so that you can have more of the silhouette of the character there.
Yeah. And this one, this window right here, actually both of these windows, I think that the core of them can go a little bit brighter, because it's like I obviously this is going to be a really tricky balancing act, but let's look at this one. But I think that we can take this and push it brighter without it getting too, and less saturated, without getting too much into the realm of the other one. Let's see. Oh, this is bright now. So right now it's like this. It's really just a matter of getting some more brightness on there and taking out some of that saturation. So it's not quite up to the level of the other one. Same thing down here. But again, your color choices are really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we could probably go a little less saturated on these as well. On this warmth. Just more like in this region. And then, yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on this one?
I think on the lights, the light poles, and I don't know if this is just it's because of the render quality right now, but if you just make, because they just look, especially the one on screen right, the way that the top, the metal piece that's holding the glass balls it looks really too specky. There's too much reflection, and I think maybe that's what's throwing us off. Like if that was darker, and then the lights would be, I think the intensity of the light might be okay, but it's just the way the reflections are hitting the top of the light bulbs.
Yeah.
Because that's what's catching my eye is the reflection part.
That's a fair point. I really like, though, like how we're seeing this kind of inverted, like little bit of the reflection at the bottom of the glass. That looks really nice. And I like how
Yeah, that looks good. Just the thing on that top.
Yeah. I agree. And then I would consider I think, I don't know if, unless there's something for us to read inside of the car, I think it might be okay to just leave it darker in there if you can.
Where's that light coming
Oh, go ahead.
from?
I was thinking about making the car the Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters car.
Yeah, go for it. That's fine.
You're halfway there.
Yeah.
Like the color scheme, it kind of seems like that, like it already.
One thing that's kind of throwing me off is the reflection of the lights on the car. Unlike on the hood, there's like one half of it is completely green and the other half is completely yellow on the top. You know, but I know that it's probably, you know, physically accurate, but it just throws me off as in like.
Well, I think that's the color scheme of the car, if I remember right, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think the hood is actually green.
Oh, okay.
I think so, right, Justin?
Yeah, it is. I think the hood's green and the door's green. I think I might just go like white, like the Echo one, the Ghostbusters. I don't know if that would be too much white, but
No, I mean because there's so much color in the lights that I won't actually read as being too white. Like the yellow doesn't, because I think the rest of it's kind of yellowish. I'm not really seeing much of the yellow. It's just like reading as like a base color for the scene.
I had a question too. Do you think I should spill the light kind of down the steps? You can't really see that walkway now, but I'll take away some of that fog. But you think I should spill the light kind of down the steps and kind of lead the viewer into that?
Sure. Sure, yeah, give it a try. Because like once you pull this off, this area will get darker, and then we can kind of because it's nice when you're lighting with stairs to kind of get that glancing angle on the edge, so you can kind of be like up, and you can kind of read it going up. That's cool. This is great. All right, cool. Let's keep it in the same realm. Let's hop over into Cat. Similar vantage point, same set, different feel overall. Cat, how you feeling about this?
Pretty happy with it. I think I hit all the notes that you gave me last time, so...
Yeah, I think this is looking really good.
I isolated the wing and put a different shader on it, so it was more leathery than the rest of him. So.
Yeah, that looks a lot better. That looks very, very cool. I'm wondering, like, just thinking structurally about this, because I think we're just kind of down to some little tweaks here and playing around with some stuff. I'm just gonna try and make this whole center area a little bit brighter. Just kind of like thinking as of about our eye going back in the center, and just because this is basically what I do right at the end. Is that like, because now it's just a matter of just doing some final tweaks. It's just like doing stuff like this to see if brightening this up actually, like, it's basically just pushing the values around and seeing if we can get a little more, just like get every inch out of this image that we can. So yeah, so I think brightening up just the center of the image right around the bat guy, I think just like really helps us read it in.
Okay.
But other than that, I think it's looking good. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this? A lot of subtle values in here. It's really nice.
The glows and everything look so good. The glows and the rims and the cats look so good.
Yeah, the rims on the cats, you really nailed those.
Oh.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's funny because this isn't even the lighting challenge right now, but it's just that Halloween mood is in the air.
I don't know if you saw my little low poly world I posted in Coffee Talk, but I did fall colors there too. I'm like, I must have fall.
It's something, man. I did. I usually I leave Coffee Talk to you guys to let you have a space, but I do occasionally I'll get the notifications on it. And we'll see some things in there, so it's very good. I did. I saw a Squid Games reference in there that I hadn't seen yet, and I watched more last night, and now I get it. All right, cool. All right. We'll go through. We got Kelvin, Theo, and Cleber. Okay, so we'll just kind of go through those in that order. Okay. So Kelvin. This is the newer one. Yeah. So this is the previous. This is the update. A little more glow, a little more warmth in the middle. I think that's working really well. He also added this version with some particulates floating in the air, and I think that's great. So I'm just going to stick on this one because I like them. I would just say if like, because you want to build depth within these, so maybe just put some that are not out of focus kind of right around the character, like right in the main area there, and I think that would be great. But I'll start off by opening this up. What do you guys think about this? Silence?
The forest floor looks really nice.
So good. So good.
The only thing that I kind of get drawn to sometimes is the mushroom on screen left.
Yeah.
It's kind of out of focus. Maybe just like, well, you kind of did it. It already just did it a little bit right there, but the one that's out of focus, I think.
Oh,
it's
I see.
Too...
Like just like a little bit more. This guy right here.
Yeah, I actually liked
Yeah.
it when you had it just. Yep.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I like it. Like I like that the mushroom cap feels like kind of fuzzy. It's interesting because it's like I mean I could see that feeling like the way a mushroom feels, but like at the macro level, it kind of starts to almost get fuzzy. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it almost looks like a felt.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I just put a little bit more. Oh, actually, this mushroom here separately. So I just wanted to put a little bit more brightness right around the center here, similar to what I just did the cats, just to push that a little more. And then, yeah, I think to Justin's point, I like the idea of pushing a little bit more value in this one. While it's great that you've got it nice and dark and kind of reading back, I think like just like a little bit more value in there would be really helpful. But other than that, I think this looks great. I'm like just this. If this was in my old job, we call things ship it with a fix because it would just be like a small change. It's like just do this one tweak and then get it out the door. So make just a little bit more brightness right here around the base. A little more of those. Loving these dust particulates floating in the air. Just make a couple that are sharp, or although they'd be pretty small, maybe just put like one or two around her and see if you like that, and then just brighten up this foreground mushroom a little bit.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
The white on the top, mainly the main mushroom, the main focal mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it would need a bit more like subsurface or something. I just feel like it's a little too. It looks a little too like cottony white.
Mm. Are you talking about the white spots on top or the?
Yeah. The white spots on top, not the bottom. The bottom's okay, but the top, like mushrooms. If you look up like white mushrooms, they have kind of this like whitish, grayish kind of like look. It's not like I think it's because of the fuzz too. It looks a bit more like cotton.
Mm.
So maybe I don't know.
Give it a try. Give it a try, Kelvin. Yeah, give it a try and just adding a little bit more to it and see if you like that look. But yeah, I can see that. I don't want it to get too translucent-y looking though. That's the only thing I'm a little bit concerned about. But
that's what I'm wondering. Maybe just change the white color to be a little less saturated or something might help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And last thing, I'm just going to try this real quick because I was just looking at the girl, and I'm wondering if she has a touch too much green in her. Do something a little bit more like that. Yeah, so I think pulling a little bit of green out of the girl as well. I think just do that in the comp. Yeah. All right, cool, good stuff. All right, Theo. We got an update. We've got the previous one here and the update here. The first thing that stood out to me was the saturation level on the logs, on the wood. I think we just pull back on that just a touch. They're really kind of pulling it like a real strong kind of reddish orange color.
When I first scrolled through the postings for today, for some reason, his references hit me as like his update. I'm like, whoa, you changed a lot. I'm like, damn, man.
Let me do that. Just a second. So I still think we can keep pushing the brights because, like, if you look even in the levels here in Photoshop, there's still some room for us to go a little bit brighter. So I think we can continue to push that because we're just not getting any like the real highs in there, and then then I can do this on top of that. I can pull back the reds on this, and I think inside this door here I would go darker inside the house. Just to kind of help tell, like, And same thing with the windows. If there's no like artificial light in there, I just darken it down overall. Amount of haze looks really good back there. On like the mountains, those mountains are feeling really nice. Yeah, like that haze on those. Good. Looking like
Do you think?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
So, I was just saying, as far as the fog in the back, maybe a more of a gradient.
Yeah, I think
because like the trees, like now that I'm looking at it, like the mountain in the back behind the trees almost blends too much, but then the trees are kind of like really dark.
Yeah, I like this. I think that looks pretty good, but yeah, you're right. There's too many dark values in these trees. And I actually think the mountain here might even be closer than these trees, or pretty close to them. So I think maybe pull a little bit of the haze off of the mountain, and then add a little bit more onto these guys.
Yeah, because the trees kind of look like they're in this big shadow. It looks like more of like a shadow kind of than the trees.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the green on this tree over here, the saturation's pretty strong. And I'm looking at the water too, because this water feels very, very. It's like nice and rich and blue, but I think it might be too much in the saturation. I would pull back the blues just a touch on that. Let's do that.
Yeah, because the blues don't really make sense because there's nothing really blue that it would be reflecting that we can see.
Right, because the sky's pretty. The sky's pretty low key on that. So I think it would be more like down in this region. And that'll still allow that to pop. And then this is where it's almost like we, again, same thing as we were doing with the others, like right around the main central area point of interest, we really want to that to be a little bit brighter. Oop, missed that. Nope. This thing's so mad at me. All right, maybe just do this. So that it's really subtle with the snow, because again, like you don't want to push it too bright because then it starts to blow out a little bit, but just like a really subtle brighter area, more on the cabin than anywhere else. And then because the snow starts to kind of gray out a little bit, so I would just push that even more, just a little bit. And then there are some really sharp shadows back here in the trees. Just watch out for whatever light's causing that, and make sure that the radius is a little bit smaller on that. Because on a day like this, you can see it on the rest of it because there's not really any hard shadows, but on a day like this with this much overcast, it's going to be like really hazy and not a lot of small light sources leading to sharp shadows. Good stuff, man. All right, cool. Let's hop over into Cleber is up next, right? I want to make sure you get everyone. All right, Cleber. So, looks like we're just doing some look dev on this character. The first thing that I wanted to, the first thing I was thinking with these paint splatters is I think they're really cool. I think for me, it's all about, because right now it looks like she was just standing there and somebody just threw random amounts of paint on her anywhere, right? Like it's not really showing that she was, like if she was painting, her hands would be very, very covered in paint, and then there would be little splotches elsewhere, right? Maybe on the parts of her face that she touches, like her nose, because kids don't know that when paint gets on their hands and they touch their, like they don't think about it. So it's more about, because like these spatters underneath her hair, it would be more about it being in her hair at that point, right? It's so just, and like if she played with the buttons on her overalls, like that kind of stuff. So just watch out when, like really, really think through when you're doing stuff like this, how it actually came into being. And for her, yeah, this all looks good. The one thing I'm concerned about though is that the skin, it looks like you still have eye work to do. Is that the skin is starting to get really bright in some of these areas, and the shirt and the clothing isn't like I'm not feeling the directionality of the sun, or the key light, I should say. So I want to just make sure that the skin and the clothing gets bright at a roughly about the same level, because you don't want to have to be light linking on the clothes. Imagine if it's a bright sunny day, you want the clothes to feel bright without the skin blowing out. And this might sound silly, but the purpley magenta colors, and this could be in the design, so stop, like, just ignore this if that's true. But their hues aren't like, this feels a little more saturated and brighter. This feels a little darker. Like these feel like they're at a different saturation level. So just something to consider is maybe just making them all in the same vein. I'm not sure why you posted this one. I was gonna look to see if did I miss something in the let's see. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if there was like something broken about this, but I think it's all hair's looking good there. Oh, I see, because you're just working on the hair. Got it. And this is where I'm going to shamelessly plug the Adobe products. If you happen to have Substance, there's a really great embroidery tool in Substance Sampler, which used to be Alchemist. That would you could take like this 2D image and make like a nice little patch for her that could go right on there. Because right now it looks like, because it's the same bump that's on the denim, that's on the patch, and like that would actually be more embroidered. So let me know if you don't have it, don't worry about it. But just a thought there, and then
You can always get for as a student for free.
That's right. Yeah, you can use our system. I think that's still. I should know this. I think
that's how I got it.
Good.
I have until I think January of next year for the year thing. So or June of next year. So
yeah, if you need a letter from us getting your student license for it, let us know. And then super silly, but these buttons are brass and these look more like silver. I think that when you do designs like this, you generally keep all of that metal components the same. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Anybody else have any thoughts on Cleber's work? All right, cool. All right, well then we will break for the day today. Thank you guys for letting me take a couple vacation days there. It was lovely to get some PTO with the family, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. So until then, be good. All right, be good, guys. Happy lighting, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.